Hello and good morning. Welcome to Shauna Stitches. This is my deep dive into the WestKnits Surprise Sock Along for 2024 called Color Popportunity. It is about 5:25 in the morning. I have Clue 2 downloaded, ready to go. That is on Knit Companion, which I love. It works so good if you're not familiar with it. I do have the paid version, but I think it's like $20 or $25 a year. Very worth it. As you know, if you watched Clue 1's video, that clue posed some difficulties for me. And I left you having one sock leg finished. I did manage to get the second sock leg finished, so I have two. I did not weave in any ends. I literally finished the second one last night before I went to bed, so a little crunch for time, but I essentially did knit 4 of the sock legs, so I feel like that's pretty good, but also I had extra knitting time because I was sick, so I don't know what this week's gonna bring. I've only managed to look at the first page of this new clue beyond the picture that I showed you. And it looks like we're going to be knitting the cuff, heel flap, and heel turn. I did see there's a video out. I haven't watched it. My first thing that I'm thinking about is, should I pick up with a 2.25? I'm assuming that this is going to be a ribbed cuff, but I don't know that for sure. The other thing I noticed is that there is now going to be a right sock and a left sock. So no longer are things going to be completely identical. So I have to pay attention to that. And yes, my thought was to pick up with a bigger needle to make sure that this stays stretchy and then switch to the 2.25. But I think I need to watch that little part of the video just to see what he does for the pickup and maybe look at the non-spoiler thread on Ravelry to see if anyone has any suggestions there. I'm going to try and stay not spoiled again. That may be, excuse me, it's early. That may be a little bit more difficult this time just because it's going to take me longer. I'm not going to be able to just plow through the clues in one day or, a couple days. All right, I'm going to go look and see, and I'll update you when I have some progress. Okay, I'm back. So far, I'm feeling encouraged. I was a little worried, but I have all the stitches picked up. In fact, I have more stitches picked up because if you'll remember right, I had to do extra chevrons on section 4 of Clue 1. So I have a total of 65 picked up stitches. And for my size 2, I'm supposed to have 60. I picked those up with a 2.75 millimeter needle. And now, as I'm going to start the 2x2 ribbing, so just a very basic rib, I'm going to switch over to my 2.25 millimeter needles. And instead of reducing down 5 stitches, I'm going to only reduce down 1 stitch. And that's because nowhere on here in the instructions does the cuff impact anything else that I'm seeing. And so I'm just going to do a knit 2 purl 2 on 64 stitches like I always do, which I know on a 2.25 is going to be great. So this sounds pretty straightforward, and honestly I'm surprised. There is a little color popportunity in the cuff, but nothing major. So I'll check back in with you when I have that done. Hello, it's July 17th, and I've just been working away on the cuff of my color Popportunity socks. Holy cow. So here's what it's looking like. Again, terrible lighting, but you get the idea. So for the cuff, I did 20 rounds of 2x2 ribbing, and then you're supposed to switch to your contrast color 1, which for me is pink, for 5 rounds. But I did something that it doesn't mention in the pattern, and I knit the entire first round of the pink. And when you do that, it gets rid of the colored pearl bumps. Words, it's too early. So anyway, it makes a nice line there with none of that jagged color, and you can't even tell that like those are knit stitches right there, but you can't even tell. It's a great little trick. So next up is the heel flap, which I assume is getting picked up right back here. I haven't actually completely looked at the directions yet. I could be wrong. I don't remember if I mentioned it or not, but there's two options for the heel in the pattern. You can do a garter, which is kind of Steven's normal heel from my understanding, or you could do a brioche heel. So I'm going to do a brioche. It calls for contrast color 2, so I'll be using my gray and my orange. And I'm just wondering when on earth my yellow is going to get to shine again, because so far it's only been used here. The 2-color bind off was color 1 and 2 so far. This is color 1 and the heel's color 2, so I need a little yellow in my life. Anyway, it is, I didn't tell you what time it is. It is 6:01 a.m. I leave my house around 6:15, so I have just a few minutes, maybe enough time to get the stitches picked up, and then I will have to fly out the door. But I will give you an update when I have something to talk about on the heel. I've never done a brioche heel, and I'm kind of wondering what the longevity or wearability will be of that, because it's just not a dense fabric, and usually you would like something fairly dense for a high wear spot on your sock. So I kind of have some doubts, but it's gonna look cool, I think, so that's something. Good morning, July the 18th. It's Thursday, so the sock pattern has been out for today's the third day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And this is how far I got on the heel flap last night. And I'm doing the brioche option. It's going pretty well. I do have some weird stuff going on right there and right over here, but it's on the side, on each side, so I think it'll be fine, and I don't care. What the issue is this is how long my heel flap is when it's the length, or I should say the amount of rows that I was supposed to do. So I measured this, and it is about, oh, can you see that? It's about 1.5 inches. That's not long enough. My preferred heel flap length is about 2.5 inches. So then I was like, do I keep going and add extra rows, which I normally do to a heel flap. My normal heel flap is a slip stitch pattern, and I do 21 slip stitches. So like on this sock, the gray, that would be what you'd be counting for the slip stitches. I do 21 of those, or 42 total rounds. And since this is a 4-row brioche repeat, I'm not sure how many rows I've done. Let's see, I can probably do the math. 6 times 4, 24, right? Yes. So that's only 24 rows instead of my normal 42. Again, this is using my 2.25. So I was like, do I just add extra rows like I'm used to doing, or do I rip this out and knit it on 2.75? But I'm just afraid on a 2.75, that fabric, which does not want to focus. Oh, why is that so blurry? I just think that it would be even wider. It's quite wide, but it would be so open. And again, as I said earlier, my main concern about doing a brioche heel flap in the first place was that it wouldn't be as sturdy. But since it's double layer fabric, I feel like that helps. And at this gauge, it doesn't seem to open. Yet I see other people's on the same needle, just huge. So I posed the question to the question thread, and I already saw a spoiler. I didn't mean to, but however, it's almost done, so I guess it's not a huge spoiler. But I put a question out there, and I just said, how hard or easy is it going to be to decrease those extra stitches that I will get from picking up? And one of the moderators, let me see if I can find the actual reply. Didn't come quite right out and say it, which, I'm not looking for answers on what the next clue is going to be. I just, if it's not going to be possible, like last year's had a cable down there, and I'm just wondering, like, how hard would that be? Anyway, the moderator, she says, if you prefer the stitch and row gauge, we can work out the gusset stitch pickup mods when you come to it. If you want to make it easier, just follow the pattern instructions. Then you can reknit at a regular stitch row gauge, your call. So basically what I'd said was, do I keep going, add more stitches, or do I rip out and do on the 2.75? So basically they said, either way, whatever you want to do, which isn't super helpful, but I mean, I guess it's not a definitely don't add extra rows. So I'm going to work on that this morning. It's just a little bit discouraging that I could be like done with it already. But I'm going to keep going. And of course I still have the second sock to do, but it's a work day, so I won't get too much knitting done. I will talk to you when my heel flap's finally done, and I will let you know how many pattern repeats or slip stitches I end up doing. Okay, there is 10 pattern repeats for 40 rows, and I think we're gonna call it good there. I measured, it's about 2 to 2 1/4. This little sock ruler isn't the best ruler, I don't think, to use for this, but it works. And let's see. Come on. Yeah, we're getting right to the 2 1/4 mark. So I know I said 2 1/2, but hopefully it seems like this is going to be pretty stretchy because it is brioche. It's definitely stretchy this way. And I'm going to do the heel turn now. I was going to say heel flap. No, we already did that. I think that's looking a lot better than where I left off, like way up here. So yes, hopefully this darn thing fits. It's giving me a lot of grief. Okay, it is the 18th, still Thursday, and I'm home from work, and I finished the heel flap and heel turn. So I still haven't tried it on, and I still haven't woven in any ends, but that's okay. This is what it looks like. There's the brioche. Very pretty. I do love brioche. I just don't know about it for a heel. This is what the inside looks like. So it's essentially just a reverse of the other. I did use my little scrap that I had left over from having to rip out the socks, so that's why I have 2 extra ends to weave in there. But yeah, I think it's really cool how the I-cord comes right down into that seam. It's like it just comes down seamlessly. I'm sure that was by design, but it looks really cool. I'm gonna try it on as much as I can try on this and see how it fits. Well, there it is on my foot. It's quite hard to get the heel to stay where it should because, there's nothing else to hold it in place. But it looks like a sock and a heel. It seems like the height is pretty good, I think. There's where my ankle bone is, right here. And you want the flap to come right up to the bottom of the ankle bone, so it seems to do that pretty well. And I am excited to see where it goes from here. All right, so that's it. That is clue 2. And of course, I still have to do the left sock, but just kind of like last time, it's gonna look a lot like this one. I think possibly you pick up on the other side, but hopefully when I start the clue 3 video, I'll be able to show you both socks done and maybe even ends woven in. Wouldn't that be something? Let's see how many ends I can have going at one time. Anyway, thanks for joining me on this clue 2 journey. It wasn't as painful as clue 1 was, but it still had a little bit of bumps and bruises along the way. But I'm excited to see where it's going. What do we think is going to happen for the foot? I can't even imagine. I do wonder if these are going to continue down, maybe. Only Steven and his testers know, and I will know soon. So will you. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and I will see you for clue 3.